morning, welcome to another episode of the Profit Point Show, where we talk about investment and business. And today we'll start with the stock market review and talk about the gainers and losers as of yesterday, and of course some audited results that were released into the market during the week, and also we have a review of the transport sector. After that, we go on to the business segment, where we talk about outsourcing for business. All of this after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. Back to the Profit Point Show, and I have Ambrose Omodio in the studio. Ambrose, how are you doing?
I'm very fine.
Because Ambrose is an investment analyst from InvestData Limited, and today we started with the gainers and losers as of close of yesterday on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We had Oando topping the gainers chart, 10%. ABC Transport followed suit, and Japol Gold, Royal Exchange, Academy Press. So what do you have to say to this, Oando? Gainers charts and Oando at 3 naira.
Before now, Oando has been, so how will I put it, I've not been transparent, even till now, for that investor to treat Oando that way. It's not that there's something else. When people don't have confidence in you, there's no trust. That trust is very important in equity investment. In anything we're doing in life, when we trust there, people can always follow you, move around. But when there's no trust, people just peep and go back. That's what happened to Oando dropped almost from 50 naira for the past almost 6 years now, down to almost 2 naira 90 kobo before it rebounded to that kind of price we are seeing now. But if you look at the market performance for the month of February, I would say in a downtrend and also a part of correction, or call it pullbacks. But for market to lose almost like 5.15, 17 for the month of February, yet to February, to date, tell you that market is really bleeding. And you say, what are the factors, behind this kind of, pullback? Yes, other factors remain intact, but the major factor that is just moving fund away from equity is consistent uptrend in fixed income yield. The CBN is like this year they move away from policy direction. This year gradually, TB, which is Treasury bill, has constantly moved from as low a point as the previous 2 weeks option board. This yesterday options are moved to 5.5. That alone is threatening the equity market. But the good thing is that because we're in the earnings season and oil price also hitting almost $67 as at yesterday, it's a good thing for the market, not for the economy. To say our government will have money to spend if they will spend, because your benchmark in your budget is about 40, 45, and we're already at 67. You have excess money to spend if this money be utilized. For me, Nigeria government is gradually having access to fund to spend, and that will also impact on the economy if literally used. For me, investors should not panic. Rather, they should start taking position in the right direction. For those that are in the market now, the consistent increase in money market, like TB, that TB is majorly played by the banks. And now the banks are just coming now. Banks is all coming and give an insight that which sector will be the number that will ride on this. Banks' earnings for quarterly last year was a bit down flat because they are not getting more interest income from all this kind of investment. Now that because they are low, now that for the last yesterday here, they have moved to for a year 5.5. I see the banks will also smile because this area was either the banks know how to put money in Treasury bill. That's what they do, because banks don't want to even lend as high, but because CBN has forced them, and also they are dealing with any economy. Yes, but now they say opportunity that they can make money in Treasury bill. I think it's go back to what most of them are already taking action to that. Let them do that business by coming to holding structure, which is also good. Treasury bill coming up is a plus for the banks. Having a holding company is a plus for the bank. For me, banking sector or financial sector should be area investors should be looking at. Especially now that we're expecting their earnings and the government are declaring good dividend already, the ones that have really resulted. For me, bank sector should not panic because they didn't rally last year. Industrial sector led the market last year. Then, for me, just tell you that you should not panic. It's about to just change your strategy. That's why a good investor should have investment goal, entry exit, and strategy, exit. When you have all this one, you know when to be or where to be. That's why we're having a training called Master Class. How to invest for 2021 for the rest of the second half or second quarter and the rest of the year. Because one, you need to know where to be on time. most people, because of September is where they rush into the market. The man that took position April last year when market was down, and the man that entered market in September last year, they can't make the same money. That means if you know how to invest, right, you know when to build a good store, a good sector, a good individual company. You know, if you do that, at the end of the year, you'll be smiling. Because if we are expecting to have Treasury be 5.5 for a whole year, and you're a good investor that understand, even if there is above for less than 2 months above the 5.5, if you know where to be, that capital appreciation will come, dividend will come, you make money at the end of this year.
Okay, so my fear now is Amber's TV is gradually coming
and
out.
it's a threat to capital markets.
Yeah, obviously. So for those, everybody obviously cannot buy banking stock. We end up running the price up when the demand so high. So, and of course, that's not the only sector in the market.
No.
So what happens, people are already in here. Of course, market gain like past 2 days.
Yes.
I don't know how sustainable that is.
It's going fine.
Okay. Now, what is the risk that the higher the interest rates, we cannot say that interest rates will not go up again this year. Anything can still happen.
Yes, I can reverse it.
It can reverse and go up.
Yeah.
So how should we position aside banking stock now?
Actually, what investors should do now, and it's part of something we discussed on the comment masterclass, but let me just keep it. What investors do now is that look at the sector that what's happening in the economy, the nature of business is going to improve active. As far as this coronavirus issue is there, despite people are saying they're having varieties, it will soon end. But for me, because they have become a new normal, vaccine will be given. And that vaccine will not just fall from heaven to Nigeria. It has to come through these healthcare businesses. And that means they're going to impact on their bottom line in one way or the other. And also the government forum is saying, no, we can't import all this vaccine from outside of Nigeria. Let's manufacture our own. That policy somersault or policy mismatch of government is the one driving the inflation. And I know that government, CBN cannot control all the price units, can't control exchange at once, control inflation and control interest rate. They only used to control the market or the economy. And now they have brought interest rate low. Inflation keep rising, and the exchange market is not stable. These are the things we are looking at. If exchange market is stable and interest rate is low, we know that we are looking at inflation. Inflation can be changed if we have enough productivity, because it goes too much demand, and also there's no goods. That's why the price keep rising, because the major reason is the insecurity. We know that for farmers to go to the farm, the bandits order in the farm, then they start to start home. That means the goods that come from the farm will be low, and the people, Nigeria, we have no population, and if we want to chop their food, as we are buying, the price will go up.
Naturally.
That's why we need to really balance our policy. Once we balance our policy, things will improve. CBN cannot do it alone. That means the physical authority should come in and make sure that things balance. That's the only way. But I see that Nigeria capital market for 2024 might see little oscillation in the second quarter, but for this year, market will still maintain an uptrend. Okay,
I say amen to that. All right, losers charts. We had LASACO topping the losers chart, losing 9.49%, followed by Consolidated Allmark Insurance PLC, then Cornerstone, and Flour Mills and WAPIC. So 4 insurance sector losing. I'm guessing this is just demand and supply.
Yeah, profit taking activities for insurance. But for LASACO, LASACO is a different case. Okay. I've said it earlier in different of my meeting or garden that in Nigeria, share reconstruction is like, for me, it's a cheat on shareholders. Because most companies in Nigeria have not share reconstruction, they've not performed to expectation. The only company in Nigeria will say, oh, I did share reconstruction in this country and my price is above, my control price is always big hybrid, which I will say, look at this LASACO. Just on Monday here, the sector and their price become 1.69 kobo. Since Monday to date, it has been on the downtrend because the earnings and the fundamentals of the company cannot support that price. And these are really the cheat shareholders. If you keep on perform well first before you can think of discussion. It's not that you reduce the number of shares, you increase price. It's not this kind of strategy they use. I don't understand it. Shareholders are okay. So let us hold back now. One, they lose their share because as already they become a smaller share issue, and the price fall down to that say 50 kobo, they've lost massively from that kind of share construction. That's why a smart investor, when you see a company I want to share, say for the sell off your position, hold your money, and after the investor that it happen, you can see the life of Unity Bank. Unity Bank direction at 5 naira. It came back down from 5 naira to 50 kobo again. You can see life like stock like C&I leasing did at 9 naira. It comes as low as 3 naira before now coming up again to like 5 naira, 30 kobo, 570. Share control in Nigeria For me, it's a scam.
Summary. Thank you, Ambrose. All right, let's go. Let's check out. This is the first time you've actually been this. You've always been.
No. For sure, no.
This is the first, like, it's a scam. All right. Let's check out the audited reports that came out during the week. Zenith Bank audited 2020 results. Profits was gross earning was up by 5.16%. Profit after tax was up by 10.4%. And more interestingly, dividend actually went up. They declared 2.70 Naira final dividend, and they've declared 30 kobo for interim. So total is 3 Naira for the year. So what do you have to say to this? How much is Zenith trading now?
Yes, they declared at 26 Naira 40 kobo. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like 10%.
It's
10%.
It's more than 10%.
Yeah, well, if you have to remove withholding tax or whatever tax, you still come back to 10%.
For me, it's really a good one for Zenith Bank. And the good thing is Zenith Bank, this is a bank that have maintained one consistent thing, that every quarter, every year, they grow their earnings. Whether it is flat or marginal, they have to make move up. It's a sign for any investor that this is a company or a bank that you cannot identify with. Why? Consistency in dividend payments, consistent in growing earnings, either top or bottom line for years, for almost 21 years. Not that it's for just 21 days. They have kept it that every year they must inch up, whether it's by 2 point something, but they must move up to the next now, and they are consistent in, and they also grow in that direction. For me, the result for Zenith Bank is not a bad one, it's a good one. And like I just said, if this bank can survive during the time of COVID-19 and they make such profit, and you know that period that we have a low interest rate, the yield for Treasury bill was down. But now that we are seeing improvement up for Treasury bill, these banks are the ones that will play, but they have the fund to play Treasury bill. That means if you look at their what we call interest income, it dropped. Nearly all the banks for 20 now. But what we're seeing increment in Treasury bill now, we're likely to see what improvement in their interest, and they play it heavily because of fund around them. For me, the banks is set to do wonders for 2021. Only that shareholders or investors that understand how to play, try to position your proposal, not only for the dividend purpose. Capital position will come, because if at the end of second quarter, because we don't expect this new 5 point something to start reflecting their first quarter result for 2021, but fully from half year, and that half year also we're expecting a dividend, interim dividend. Now, for me, investors that are really taking, especially the retirees, who like come to me, if you want where you can get dividend twice in a year, such bank, when they pull back, an opportunity to jump in. That's why when people are jumping, when it came down as 21, 22, 23, I was happy. That's how to invest. You take position. Now that it's at 26, no, if you want to sell 5, you want to go, because the price will always oscillate. That is market for you. There's no market in the world that has straight line up, or an individual stock that will start going up. No, there will always be oscillation or pullbacks. But for me, the Zenith result is not a bad one, considering where we are coming from 2020. Well, you can see that the growth between the top line were not much. But I'll tell you, it's not in a decline. Good up for me, and also they grow their dividend. For me, it's a good number.
That's good. That's one stock that's on the market. I mean, on the floor of the exchange, and even in real life. They're performing well.
Exactly.
So
you can see the volume they traded yesterday of about 154 million shares were traded yesterday. So people have interest in that kind of, because PFAs, non-individual, everybody want to participate. So where you see success, people want to deal with success.
Naturally. All right, over to Nigerian Breweries 2020 audited report. Revenue was up by 4.35%, and profit after tax was down by 54.25%. Well, the brewery sector didn't really perform in 2020.
Yeah.
But then I wonder what actually caused their profit after tax to be almost half decline, while the revenue went up slightly. Maybe the operation or something. And did they say anything in the report?
No. Apart from that, you should know that this period, 2020, were just considering like the financial year. There's a lot of storm, and because people were locked down at home, consumption drop, income drop, then it was to affect them. But the good thing is that they decided to start expanding by acquiring more business companies, so that they can enlarge their market share. We believe going forward we might little improve, but because of the earnings of people, purchasing power of Nigerians, for me, that sector is the one that will come up last. And not only that, the share price at 58.60 was just because the major stakeholder, which is at Heineken, decided to money they can't take away as form of dividend when there was a kind of a issue in the exchange market. They decided to expand their holdings in in Nigeria, but that moved the share up. It's not because of their performance. And that's why you can see a company that paid you about 1 naira
51
kobo
kobo,
the previous year.
they declared 69 kobo.
And now you can see it's true. And also you can look at when your bottom line is down by almost 50%. You don't need to do otherwise. You can't give what you don't have.
Sure. I would say they even tried though.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much
if you
from
look
them.
at the industry generally, they've been struggling. Look at their bottom line for almost 5 years, they have been flat.
Interesting. Okay, African Prudential PLC gross earnings was down by 13.04%. Profit of tax was also down 13.92%. I think in recent past, this is the kind of result I can actually see. Gross earning down, profit of tax down, same rate. So there's no question of what happened in between.
Yeah.
So,
for me,
but they still declared dividend of 50 kobo.
Yeah, against 70 kobo. And the market had to treat
From a negative report.
No,
from a negative result.
I mean, decline.
A decline.
Yeah. Well, it shows that they have interest in their shareholders. They need to create value for the shareholders. It's good. Only that the company has also doubled their effort. But before now, I think they have really moved into investment angle. I saw their 5 years rolling plan for investment expansion, which is good. But I think the area they really did badly was, or they performed poorly was the area of their registry was not too much because of COVID-19, most research activities were just few. And you know, the more they spend, the more they can be the company that they are. But now, if 5 people are going to stay in a room, know how the registrar will tell you want to pay so you use them as a company, say how many of us are you catering for? But before, when they use hall, you know, but now you can see that affected their business. But I know that the online team also help that if they have to cut their own expenses. So going forward, I see the African Prudential bouncing back if the investment climate continue on this up direction, because they also want to play in the fixed income market, and we are seeing little up an improvement in that sector. It's still going to play out. But investors should not forget that whether there's fixed income improvement, the yield in the equity market is still high. That's why talk like this, once they touch around, he paid 50 kobo. When people start seeing that the yield is around 8%, people start taking position again. So, they were selling when they announced the result, but when you get to around that 8% yield.
How much is the stock itself?
It's 6 naira now.
Okay.
That's about 8% yield for you at 50 kobo. The people say, okay, it's a good one. But if I'm going to wait in treasury for a whole year,
to get 5%.
5.5, then this one in less than 2 or 3 months we are off with this position. You move to another thing because I think we'll go back to that treasury business if possible.
Okay. UCAP 2020 full year audited result. 2020 revenue was up by 49.14%. Profit of tax was up by 57.6%, and dividend declared was 70 kobo. It would have been awkward if we didn't see this kind of report.
Yes.
The market was hot last year, and UCAP is one stock that seemed to mimic the market. So
yes, I like that. That's part of the market.
Yeah, part of the market.
So the market is giving 50%.
So they should do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they should do that. But I was thinking maybe the dividend should be like 80 kobo or 90. Am I being a liver twist?
You are becoming relative. Yes, it's too greedy. No. This 50 kobo is a welcome one. Only the market didn't treat the result the way I expected. When the result came, it was there people start selling. But it's just.
How much is the stock?
The stock is about now today. I think yesterday closed at 6 naira 24 kobo.
Wow, this is more than 10%.
Yeah, no. More than about 11%. It's good. For me, this is a company that not only the result was seen, there's restructuring in that company.
Okay.
They've really changed their style. Not only that they are stepping out of Nigeria to other neighboring countries, even outside the shore of Africa. I tell you that their business is becoming strong, and also they know what they are doing. And for those who see such performance, they have access to cheap fund 2020, they did bond, and that bond was invested in this market that really turned out. That's why as an investor, thank you for giving us go ahead to go and borrow. That's why they are paying a good amount. But going forward, if you're in UCAP, you don't need to run because they are expanding their business to other things, and that will also support their bottom line going forward. That means if you see this stock coming as low as 5 naira or 4 naira, if you are thinking long, it's a stock that you should jump in. For me, their performance are show where they are going. You have to also follow them because this stock, in the moment for now, they have institutional investor in stock to maintain an up price. But with the number we are seeing, should be selling above 8 naira. Or if an institutional investor come into this company any moment from now to change its whole structure, not that because price go up, people start selling. Why you see people dumping on that when the price is because the shareholding structure is loose. But stock like Stanbic IBTC or Nestle, even when you can't set the price to drop because
now how many do you even have to influence the market?
That if some company should have any institutional investor in this company to change the face of UCAP, and being an investment company, it will easily attract institutional investors because they know that they are the ones that even run the economy. You know, financial sector, such company that, like people that their first quarter results would likely to also be better. Why? Because all the packaging of Transcorp acquisition of this was, some of them was done in this first quarter. Why at the previous year was some done in the last quarter of 2020. You see those numbers reflecting in their first quarter. That means any pullback in this close is because their first quarter also give you, oh, this company is still strong, they're going somewhere to attract, you know, kind of, for me, you know, UCAP has come to stay.
All right, that's good. All right, a few minutes to go on this segment. Let's preview the transport sector and the service sector. Let's begin by even identifying these complaints in that sector.
That entitled transport.
Transport and service, yeah.
Yeah, no, you can consider stock like, you know, Resta as a service company.
ABC?
ABC, stock like, what's it called? Cavaton, NACO, SACO. These are aviation. These are all those you know, transport or service sectors that you can look at.
You know, when you say transport, you're like, it just came to my mind. Well, aviation is also transport, but when you begin to match them with ABC, there's just discussion.
That one is air.
I mean, if you look at the money, as in the kind of money capital you have to need for this particular one. So, what are we expecting in 2021?
Yeah, for me, the discovery of breakthrough in vaccine is a plus for the sector. One, now people can move. You know what happened in 2020? That sector was grounded because immediately they say no movement, hotel business, transport, everything was done. Nobody will come leave his house to your hotel or will travel from it. That means you still have to, you know, shut down. But now there's vaccine, people can move. Even though you can get yourself with your vaccine or your country can say, oh, instead of a vaccine, you can go you go and take your vaccine and then you can travel. That means that sector has to beat out this year because people can now move around. That's one. And also, like in our part of the world here, in Nigeria here, with this hike in what's it called, fuel price, it will be also, for me, it will also be another problem for them. That's why once we are saying the vaccine will boost their activities, other thing that will also affect them is the cost of operation, because hike in fuel. For the good thing that they will pass it to
the customers. Obviously, you cannot track.
But when you pass it, it will reduce patronage.
If you're not going to somewhere
no, but with our data and online now, you don't need to be in every meeting.
That's true. You can zoom it.
Before we have to travel to it, but things are because that's why I said there is a prospect for it, but also you have to look at the challenges they are facing. For me, it's a sector that we can watch very well, but I don't see them, you know, paying dividend, you know, fantastic at going to this 2021. Let's say from 2022, you can see, but for this year, 2020, don't expect much from that sector, especially those that are in Cavaton, those are in
transports, basically.
In NACO, they will pay dividend, but their dividend will be small because considering the loss they will incur for 2020, but going forward, 2021 will be a better year for them. Then 2022, I can say, yeah, they breathe out, they start paying good dividend. For me, there's no cost for life. It's a sector that work can look at. And knowing that everywhere in the world, transport sector is even direct economy, because when there's no movement of goods and services, you can't go anywhere.
Obviously.
Then for that, only that this part of the world, we don't give attention to that. That's why we can hike our price anyhow, because hiking of price of money, we have increased inflation.
It's not that we don't give attention, it's because we feel that whether you like it or not, you're going to do it.
For me, before you said, oh, you want to hike fuel price because we are regulating the sector and you want demand as well to determine the price, and now you are not tying your price to movement in crude oil price. That means if today if crude oil price touch 100 naira, that means Nigeria will buy fuel for 500 naira. And that also will be moved to what? To goods and services, and people are earning peanuts. No, we want to take our approach and see, we don't just want to copy a model from somewhere and bring it. You look at the priority of the economy before you can, and we're also producing. It's a shameful that we're importing all this fuel. If we're manufacturing not, we're refining here, it's better for us. The cost will drop, because any day now, last time they probably say, oh, landing cost of fuel in Nigeria is 190 naira. Automatically, the price of fuel will go to 80 naira or 90 naira. And you say you are lose subsidy. No, for me, if you go by that policy and see how can fine-tune it and make Nigeria enjoy what we have.
Anyway, Resta is into logistics.
Yeah, into
logistics. And that's one area of the economy that seems to see the boost. There was time I was going out and, you can't ride sector, and you see a lot of posts wanted, delivery riders.
The funny thing that the company Resta has not even show that, yes, the sector is booming. Yes, they've invested money, trying to make that they provide kind of logistics that will preserve all these agricultural products. You can move perishable goods for a long distance. That's what they have invested, but it has not reflected on their number. If you look at their first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter release in December, it has also been down. And I think going into this, you might say, but for me, that sector has potential. If somebody, a company like Red Star and what the other one, they are two there, they're into Korea business, and that if they can sit down and harness what is happening, there's a lot of money they will make for me. I know the last right issue Red Star did, they invested heavily on this logistic to preserve, which is good, but that's not reflected on their number. I mean, if you are thinking long to this, at least I have to invest in this kind of economy. You don't just because prices are going up, you want to jump in, call your friend. You should have investment go and let things that you want to look at. What are the fundamentals that will support this company, number? What kind of business are they doing? Know their business model. If you understand the company business model, they will tell you whether you should go in there or not. But if there's any policy that will affect that sector, like this crude oil price going up, we know the sectors that will benefit from it. Company that will benefit from it in Nigeria. Then you ask, if crude oil can go to 100 naira, $100. That means stock like this, stock will do well. You start positioning now. Don't wait until it touch that 100 naira. Price have moved from 1 naira to almost 10 naira. But the price that bought at 1 naira will sell to you that I bought at 10 naira. But if you understand the way you enter on time, that's why I tell you that taking early position anywhere in the equity market is very important. That's why the coming master class is for people to take advantage of positioning well for the year 2021. Because those that attended the December summit, they all made the target of more than 30%, 20%, 40% in less than 1 month. Then position for the year, you have to be in the master class.
Interesting. So there are two companies I'm really looking forward to seeing on the coming to list on the floor exchange. I remember when Dangote Cement came on board. It was like the floor was full.
It was welcome.
It was welcome because we knew what they were doing outside.
Yes.
So the anticipation was, and they didn't disappoint us at least so far. Two companies, Chi. In the agricultural sector, because they're doing well, and GIG Logistics in the service sector. Logistics, because they are doing well also. So I'm really looking forward to those two companies to boost those sectors.
Just like what you said now, is the work of the NSC or whoever to hold this company down. Only that when they are coming, let them come because they will see value, investors will see value, and also they will. But if your cost of listing is high or the procedure is tedious, it will scare people away.
Especially if the company does not even seem to need the money. They're doing well.
Yes. No, if they think that, the process is seamless and they get value for it coming to list. When you are listed on exchange, you become a public company. They call them capitalists. People should go and market them. Tell them, market them, this is the benefit of being listed on exchange. It's a good one. It's a good one. I think that one, we pointed them out. The two are very good. I think, we need them on exchange.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ambrose.
Thanks for having me.
All right. This brings us to the end of the stock market segment. We go on break, and when we return, we go into the business segment where we talk about outsourcing for business and why you should consider it and when you should consider it. After the break, stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to the Profit Point Show, and this is the business segment where we're talking about outsourcing for business. I have in the studio Mr. Idowu Ogundimo, who is going to explain to us and point out the reasons why we should or we shouldn't do outsourcing when it comes to our businesses. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's begin with defining what outsourcing means generally.
Yeah, basically outsourcing is assigning a particular aspect of your business to a third party, other company that you think can handle that aspect of the business effectively well than even yourself or your team in the company.
Okay.
And so it's about the cost you are incurring and maybe the stress you have in the business. When you discover that you have too much stress in a particular area of your business, or it's costly, maybe engaging a labor permanently or things like that. So you think of giving it out to a particular company that can handle it better for you.
Okay.
So that is what outsourcing is all about.
Okay. All right. So which area of the business as a whole, if you have to break it down into areas, do you recommend?
Actually,
okay.
We have basically 3 areas.
Okay.
There are certain aspects of your business that you need a qualified top executive that you may not have it, and engaging such a particular cadre of the work will be too expensive for you. At that level, you need to think of how to get it, maybe somewhere, either around you or abroad. Then there are repetitive aspects of your business. For instance, the logistic aspect of your business, running the transportation and the rest may be too stressful for you to handle. So at that level, you need to think of how to engage a third-party company that can do that for you. And there are professional knowledge that you need. For instance, the legal knowledge, the accounting knowledge that you cannot handle on your own. Then you begin to think of how to give it out to other companies that can do it well for you. So when you do the analysis of your strengths and the weakness in the company, then you now look at which area do I need external forces or external help or external aid. That's when you begin to think of what are the available options around, either within the country, outside your country. So, and those are the steps of what can involve you getting an outsourced company for your business.
So three main things to look at.
Yeah.
If the operation is repetitive,
Yeah.
if you need a high-level executive and you can't afford one,
Yeah.
and if it requires a professional technical
Specialized
expertise.
knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So once you can apply those 3 in any of your operations,
Yeah.
you can actually outsource.
Yeah.
Outsource that.
And if you don't have it, or if you have it, it's expensive. For instance, now to maintain labor, that means there are other things that are taxed to it. There are other incentives apart from the basic salary. You need to pay for the insurance allowance, the health allowance, and the inconvenience, asada. So many allowances once you engage the person permanently. But if you contract it out for a human resource company, they will take care of that, and they know how to minimize the cost. So it's cheaper for you. So you may not need too much space, because some can be done even right away from their office or from the home. For instance, now there was a company that is a consulting firm in the area of accounting, and he needed an IT person. He is in America, but getting labor there, he considered the cost of dollar to a naira. So he engaged the IT people in Nigeria, which is more cheaper, and they will just upload and get whatever that he needed to do. So it's done that way. So you can, when you think of the cost, then you think of what you need and how to get it.
Okay. From a professional point of view,
Yeah.
which area of the business would you not recommend outsourcing? Even though those 3 points are there.
You see, there are core areas.
Okay.
For instance, now, the Coca-Cola still maintain the champion in the area of salt, but they have a specific ingredients that is known to them. Is the selling point, is the unique aspect of the business. So you don't engage people to come and help you mix it. You can engage an accountant, you can engage a security to manage your security system, you can engage a transport company to help you distribute your product. But the mixture that makes you unique from other companies, you don't give it out to just anybody or a third party, because that's the secret of your business. And immediately they have your secret, that means you are gone. So there are core areas of your business that you can't let out to people. So you must know that as your strength in the business, and you have to guide it jealously, so that you don't make the mistake of running your company down while you are trying to save cost.
That's true. Interesting. Okay. You know, some of these outsourcing companies also, obviously, it won't be your company alone that they'll be working for.
Yeah.
So how do you protect yourself from competitors that they may also take up as client?
That is why, you see, in any business engagement, there should be a contract agreement.
Okay.
There should be a legal terms. And if there's a breach of contract, then you can take it up legally. And when you relate with company, there is a oath you sign too, a oath of secrecy.
Okay.
That, you understand now? All those things, the contract agreement you are making, the oath of secrecy, and the rest is to secure your business. And those are the things you need to take into consideration. And most importantly, you engage a legal person that knows the nitty-gritty of contract agreement and how to negotiate and how to secure your whatever agreement you are putting forward. So, and that's what you need, because you need to have a concrete focus you want to achieve with your third party or whoever, so that at the end of the day, you won't expose yourself to a danger.
Okay. So given the fact that we looked at repetitive operation, if we look at if you can afford a top executive, so we are looking at businesses that are not yet big. Does it mean that businesses that are big, as in big when financial muscle is there, years of experience, they don't need to outsource? Does that mean they don't need to outsource?
The
big companies?
They do. Because they were the one that originated the issue of outsourcing.
Okay.
Because naturally, a one-man business, a small business, will want to do everything and be a jack of all trades at the end of the day.
Well, maybe they're considering money.
Almost nothing. You get what I'm saying? Achieve almost nothing. For instance, now, as your person now, you can develop an idea outsourcing others. Once you have an idea, you discuss with a legal person to secure your idea first. Then you begin to look at who are the core areas, professionals, companies that can be of. For instance, now if you want to put up a magazine, for instance, you have the knowledge. Maybe by virtue of your training, you have a skill in journalism and writing. But then, apart from writing and whatever, you still need a graphic designer that can do that for you. And that means you need to source for a graphic designer that can do that for you at a very cheaper and affordable price. You still need a marketing company that will help you market. You still need a publishing company that can do it for you. So you have to navigate around it. And we're able to secure all those ones. That means you are good to go. But you see, these multinational companies, initially they were doing it all alone too. But you realize that, for instance, Lafarge Company, as an example, you know, when they were doing the transportation, the distribution on their own, the drivers can misbehave, the vehicle can, you understand now, Dangote initially, the driver would drive both the cement and the trucks away. So they now realize that, okay, instead of we running around every other thing and losing that much, then we can engage a transport company whose specialization is in that transportation. It has the knowledge of the driver, it has the knowledge of the technicians that will manage the truck and things like that. So you now negotiate a price. So you've taken yourself off the stress of managing the distribution of your product, and it's good for you.
So you can focus on the core area.
Yeah. So, and if you engage security and you need to pay for the health allowance, aside insurance, this and that, companies don't do that again. They give it to a company that is specialized in that area. So all you need to do is to get the track record of the company you want to engage, the integrity, the year of experience, and their competencies and the rest and the rest. And once you have your money, you can do that. And let me tell you, even individual small companies, they are doing it now. Even in Abeokuta here, people who make an arrangement with a transporter. For instance, if I'm into fabric or textile, the Adria and Kampala people, they have their clients in Abuja, in Lagos, so they just have a permanent transport person. It may not be a big time company, one or two. So once you have your product, you give it to the transporter at a price, it takes it there. So it's regular, because at that level, you have a trust in the person. You know that your goods will get to where the goods are going. And it's a simple way of doing it. So people don't know that once you clap your hands together, it gets more louder.
Apparently, you can't clap one hand.
So it's not easy.
I understand.
You can get the result. You are trying it now. I think you can see the result. But if you put the two together, you
obviously.
So.
All right. Now there's this thing called culture, organization culture, like how we do things.
Yeah.
Now I'm not even talking about transport. I'm not talking about. Okay, let's look at HR for instance. You see some companies, they outsource their junior staff.
Yeah.
How do you imbibe your culture as a business person? This is how I want my business to, this is what we do, this is what we stand for, into these people that your outsourcing agent actually brought in. You know, you can have an outsourcing company that brought in the junior staff, another outsourcing company that brought in the drivers, another one that brought in the cleaners. So you have a lot of outsourcing companies bringing.
Yeah. To clap.
Okay.
You have your company, number one, to push the culture of your company to, because already the HR company has the knowledge of all it takes, average knowledge of all it takes to run in a company already. That means you should have 70% of all it takes to run in a company given to the labor. At the same time, they do induction too.
Okay.
The company, they try to they induct
New people.
That
New
this
staff.
is how we do, this is how we go, this is where you move from this point to this point to this point. They do induction for new staff, either company. So they do it for you that you are not even a permanent staff, you are just a passers-by for a deficit. Not to talk of somebody that work there. So they do that induction for both either a service provider or people that want to come in an organized setting. But no matter organized or unorganized, at least you must know how to do your things right. So even small scale businesses too, they do that. This is what I want. If it goes beyond this, then you are fired. Bring in another company.
Okay, so we know that Google, you can get any information you want there.
You
So
can.
is that the basic way or medium that you can actually get outsourcing company, or are there other ways of you getting an outsourcing company?
It depends. It depends. You see, through interaction with your friends, with your colleague, your HR here, they contact HR in AIT.
Okay.
Now, oh, I need this and that. You understand now? That's one. You can do direct contact. Then there are some companies that their own function is to research. They do research, give them, I want this, and they give it to you. It's their own job too. And maybe your personal information too could be of help. But by and large, the internet world has made things so easy. So the little you get from there can throw more light on where and where to get more. So getting information now is unlimited, it's free, it's cheap.
Okay, so let's speak it from the point of it is free, it is cheap, and so meaning we have access to a lot of information.
Yeah.
So how do I identify a good outsourcing company? Because obviously if I go to Google, for instance, it's going to give me a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know anybody, there's no referral. So how will I know, how will I choose an outsourcing company?
Beautiful. You see, every company has a profile. And basically, people give you a drug. Say, this drug is good, use it. Then the next question is, have you suffered from such ailment? Have you used it? You understand now? So, from once you Google, you get the profile of the company, you know the year of experience, the companies they've serviced, the track record of that company. Then from there you can make further inquiry from such companies mentioned.
Okay.
You understand now? So then from the company, you can, even individual job, personally, they go and make inquiry, even while you are not there. From your CV, it's okay, you have worked in, you said you have worked in OGBC before, and without your knowledge, they will go to OGBC and find out. So companies too you can find out, and through that, you'll be able to come up with 2, 3, 4 options. Then if you now have other means of cross-checking You understand now? You can do that, and sometimes the experience will always tell
Okay.
through the profile, and you can.
Okay. So if you're looking at a business, obviously if you have to apply those 3 criteria, repetitive operation, high level personnel, and then expert or professional service, that means we can outsource almost 90% of a company's operation, right?
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, how much of a percentage of a business do you suggest a business owner to outsource, even though you can outsource everything? As
Yes.
in, should it be like 30% of the whole business operation, 70%? Should there be a limit, or outsource as much as you can outsource?
Yes, the limiting point there is, where's your core?
Okay.
Because even in outsourcing, it has a lot of advantages. You share the risk with people, you reduce the cost of labor, you have a good cash outflow, you have this and that. You understand now? You still have other side, which is we call disadvantage. Because while you are engaging third party, you are exposing the secret of your business, your security strategy, and so many other things too.
Okay.
You are exposing it.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying
Yes.
now? So, you have to now think of, where is my core?
So okay, so far you don't outsource your core. You can outsource any other one.
You can outsource any other. Because if you release your core to third party, you are open all your financial levels to people. Once you engage, for instance, in Nigeria now, they bring in expatriates to most of the manufacturing companies. You get what I'm saying now? So once you outsource your engineering system, once there's a problem, they go back. And before you know it, the company is down.
So you are the
You get what I'm saying now? So the company is down. If you, that could mean people to be trained as well. So that if you are disengaging, let me outsource 60% and 40%
in-house.
So if there's any disagreement or whatever, then you still have something to fall back to.
Okay.
You can always cover up in no time, other than giving everything out.
Okay.
So it depends on the function, the core. You understand now? There are some that if it goes, another one can come in immediately. If you lose this, you understand now? If you engage people to manage your website or your Facebook, or you understand now, maybe the PR aspect of your business, then I think you can still do that, because you can still get more. But at least while you are giving out so much, think of how to have it too as a backup in case of any disagreement.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Mr. Ogundewo. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, this brings us to the end of this segment, business segment, and we've talked about outsourcing, and I'm sure you've gained one or two things. This brings us to the end of the session, and same time, 11 a.m. in the morning. Thanks for watching, and remember the coronavirus is still real, so stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.